Please take what I'm going to say, with a pinch of salt, because I'm not a very political person and I'm living far away from the northern hemisphere in South Africa. Next stop, Antarctica. But my intuition tells me that democracy around the world is in a state of crisis. Democracy should be power to the people, but what I sense is that the people are divided. They're not united. They're divided and they're ruled. Now, if I were to sort of encapsulate one sentence what I think is wrong, I think it is there's not enough people in the world who've read Thunder Squeak. But I could do a bit better than that. I try to give an example, okay? I'm going to take, for my example, the Brexit situation of last year or whenever it was. I wasn't there, so make allowances, but I'm going to say, imagine someone coming and asking for opinions of people about Brexit before it happens, what they're going to do. And I'm going to parody 3 types of response. The first person says, Brexit? Oh yes! Britain used to be a great nation. Britain ruled the waves. We had a huge empire. The sun never set on it. And the idea, we fueled the Industrial Revolution. So the idea that Britain, with its own democracy, which is an example to the world, should be in the thrall of unelected bureaucrats in Brussels, be dominated by them, is absolutely ridiculous. The sooner we pull out and become great again, the better. I vote for Brexit. The next person says, things have changed. There was a time when Britain was a great and powerful nation. But now, if you look at the actual figures, figure. Russia, figure. America, figure. China, figure. You realise that we're now a very small player. We're more like a little, instead of ruling waves, we're like a little cork being tossed about on the great waves of economics and global phenomena. It's only as part of a bigger power bloc, Europe, that we really could have any influence at all. Europe, figure, is right up there with the big players, if only it could be united and active. We've put so much into getting there that this is where our future lies, and to throw it all away is ridiculous. The way forward is to stay in Europe and make it work. I'm voting to remain. Now we come to a third voice. Brexit, or you mean like pulling out of the European Union? Well, I like the European Union, there's much better coffee in England since we've been a member of it, and we've had some great holidays in Greece and Spain and France. So yeah, it's pretty good. I like the European Union. But should we pull out? Yeah, I think I might vote to pull out. When our old family doctor died, they got in this young Italian guy, and my mum doesn't trust him the same as the old guy. He's a bit sort of smart dressing and, that sort of thing, yeah. Yeah, so I think it might be time for a change. After all, we know now how to make good coffee, so I'm going to vote out. Now, I'll give two sort of, the first two are like extremes, and going back to what I said in the good versus evil, the analog model, I've taken two extremes. They're actually different directions you're looking in. You might even say the first lot of things and still vote to stay in, and vice versa. But they represent a spectrum of ideas that represent looking to those extremes. And if I said which is the most powerful of those, I think people would say, well, the first two are really powerful. They're strong opinions. These people really know what they want. Whereas the third one is, wishy-washy, drippy. I'd say the only one of those was powerful, and that was the third one. Those first two people were simply giving away their power. They were giving the key to the media or to politicians of how to control them. The politicians hearing that would know exactly what they got to say to win that vote. The first two people. But that third person, he has the politicians quaking in their boots. Because if the majority of British people are thinking like that, the politicians are going to have to deliver. He did say at the end he was going to vote for Brexit, but if that's the sort of thinking behind it, if anything goes wrong, the support will just vanish. If next year the cost of Marmite goes up, or it gets difficult to get spares for your Volkswagen car or something, it'll be blamed on Brexit, and the support will evaporate. Politicians faced with a public like that are desperate, because it means they've got to do something. They've actually got to produce results. So that last position is the really powerful one. That's power to the people. Now, why then is it that people think it's powerful to say those first two sort of things? I think there's a problem here about power. I addressed it partly in an earlier video when I talked about magic and power. And I argue that people very often say they want power when actually strength is a much better thing to go for than power. But there's something more than that. And I think the problem, I don't know, was it in the 90s when people started talking about empowerment, as though that was a good thing? Well, I'm not so sure it is. You see, the problem with power that I'm now addressing is that you only really enjoy power when you're giving it away. I've got a very powerful torch, Danish one, when it's fully charged, that's a powerful torch. But you only really feel the power when you switch it on, the moment it starts giving away its power by giving off light. A politician, a dictator who declares war on an enemy, wow, that must feel powerful. But if you think the day before he declared war, he's got the power either to declare war or to remain peaceful. And the moment he declares war, he's given away half his power. Half it's gone. He's now committed. I'm one of those people, the only time I really feel powerful is when I'm shopping, You go around the store and everyone's sort of, yes sir, says sir, yes, I'm sure this will fit you, I'm sure this looks good and all that. The moment you've made your purchase, and you've got your bags, they turn to someone else. The power of democracy is to put your cross against that party. But the real power is when you walk into the booth not knowing who the hell you're going to put the cross against. That's when you're powerful. As soon as you put that cross, you've given away your power. Maybe with good reason. So, in Thundersqueak, I wrote about, in praise of apathy and the futility of utility and things like that. But I think that this is the crisis that we're facing now around the world. If I were to try to sum it up, I say that the people must get that power back. They must be unified. And if I were to just make it into a slogan, I would say the dynamo of democracy is half hearted support. That's what we've lost.